In this edition of City News, find out why a large crowd gathered at the Hawthorne Memorial Park. Also, see what facility is closing at the Hawthorne Memorial Center and how it might affect you. These stories and much more coming up on City News. Hello and welcome to City News. I'm Kelly Moody. A sport that was previously banned from being played in Hawthorne City Parks now has official fields. Jennifer Maria was at the Hawthorne Memorial Park to bring us all the details.
Chevrolet and the LA Galaxy Foundation work with the Hawthorne Police Department to bring these 3 futsal fields to the city of Hawthorne.
It was very nice and it was unexpected. I mean, I didn't think we'll ever get a field over here like that.
I had a meeting with the Galaxy over the Halloween event and mentioned, hey, if you guys ever want to build futsal courts, we would love to do that. And Lauren from the Galaxy was like, well, as a matter of fact, we might want to do that. And so we basically made it a reality.
A 3-year dream of Sergeant Chris Cognac and funded by Chevrolet through its Beautiful Possibilities program and the LA Galaxy Foundation now allows soccer to be played in this local park.
We believe that through play that children, individuals, communities are able to thrive, they're able to grow, it unites people, so that's our belief in soccer.
So this is an area now that we can provide for the community. We had some underutilized tennis courts out here that we wanted to convert, but didn't have the funding to do it, and this will provide that opportunity for the kids now to have a place to play.
It took only 4 weeks to convert the tennis courts into these fields.
This community of Hawthorne, what they're really passionate about is soccer. So what we did was took these unused, vacant tennis courts and have transformed them into 3 beautiful, pristine soccer fields.
There's a huge amount of children, adults, teens that love to play soccer here in the city of Hawthorne. They would find any location that they could in our parks, sometimes even in the tennis courts. And of course, this wasn't the proper types of facilities to play soccer, but now we have official regulation-sized futsal courts here in the city of Hawthorne.
Many people gathered with excitement for this new change.
Well, the reason you couldn't play soccer in Hawthorne is because it damaged the grass, and so the city would have to constantly replace the grass at all the parks. We didn't have a soccer field, but we didn't have the money to replace the grass. So essentially, years and years and years ago, they made soccer illegal. And they planted trees in the middle of the park so they couldn't play.
It feels amazing to have opened up the new football fields. There are 3 beautiful fields, and they're not vacant tennis courts, so it gives this community and this neighborhood a home to play the beautiful game.
I had to go to different parks, not around here, to go play soccer. Now I'm actually able to do it, so it's pretty awesome.
An organization named Coaches Across Continents, which deals with social issues through soccer, trained officers and some city employees on how to address social issues through games, which will be implemented here.
The curriculum to teach kids is really driven by the volunteers, the coaches, who you will see are Hawthorne police officers, Hawthorne community members, city employees, and they're giving up their time to learn a new way to connect with the youth.
We'll create safe spaces, like we'll have a women's only hour every week, things for girls. There'll be a multitude of things to do, and this will be a catalyst to hopefully change and have people come in and really be proud to be from Hawthorne.
The construction of these fields has made many people excited about coming out to play.
It's awesome, and there will be famous people playing here too, and probably they might be coming here watching them.
This is great because I see all these kids playing over here, having a good time, getting out of the house. That's what we need.
Da Vinci design students came up with the design of the mural in a week, and in several hours, with the help of dozens of volunteers, sketched and painted the 3 new murals, one of which honors a Hawthorne native and now professional soccer player.
It's just a blessing, and it's just an honor just to participate and be involved with the city of Hawthorne.
I didn't think we were going to be able to do it. Most people are like, oh, I don't think we're going to be able to finish it because it's pretty big. But I felt really pumped when we saw it come together.
It feels really great. I mean, I really can't explain how I feel right now because it just feels amazing.
The City Council and community members hope that this is just the beginning of many great things to come.
It's here for generations to come. It's something we want to spearhead in our parks We want to invite communities at large to visit our parks in Hawthorne and know that we have soccer fields in a safe environment.
You'll see me out here often, you know. I'll be out here playing with the kids, you know. I'm going to do whatever I can to help the kids in this environment, in this neighborhood. And I mean, if my name is called, I'm here, you know, I'm here to help.
Giassi, one of our great players, is from Hawthorne himself, and now he's a professional soccer player. So giving kids the opportunity to play soccer, to see that a big soccer player is here from their own community will be incredible.
Lauren Nowinski also mentioned that LA Galaxy coaches, camps, and clinic coaches will come out here and lead future clinics. For HCTV, I'm Jennifer Murillo.
The futsal fields are located at 3901 El Segundo Boulevard and open to the public during regular park hours. For more information, call the Hawthorne Memorial Park at 310-349-1640. The Spring 2016 Recreation and Community Calendar was released this last month. Visit www.cityofhawthorne.org/register-for-activities to see a full list of what is offered. Classes range from fitness to cooking with a little something for everyone. Coaches across continents, global leaders in sport for social impact, left a mark in the city of good neighbors. Jennifer Murillo tells us why.
Coaches across continents use sports as a vehicle to create self-directed learners who can identify, address, and solve problems in their communities.
We often use sort of sport, and we use jokes, and we use dancing, and we use that as a kind of way to break down the barrier and allow us to really talk about the deeper issues, about cultural issues or traditional issues or religious issues, and that you couldn't really do if you tried to go in and just talk to people.
At first, two of them were very active and wanted to play. One of them was kind of hesitant, and then she saw that everybody was having fun and everyone was laughing, and then she joined in and didn't want to stop.
Andrew, Cody.
Hawthorne police officers and community members were trained at the new futsal fields by the coaches of the organization on ways to use play to discuss social issues.
And we were playing a bunch of different games that help to work on communication and problem-solving skills that they can then use with different children's groups, with girls, with boys, throughout the community in this new park that Chevrolet has built.
Here, as coaches, we're learning new skills and new ideas to implement in our practices, whether it's communication, listening, very just interactive social environment.
The topics covered are based on local social needs, including female empowerment and conflict prevention.
As a coach, I don't come in and tell people exactly what to do. My job is to set up the framework and set up the environment so that learning can occur from the game.
Everything is all to do with play. I think today we probably had about 5 minutes where they weren't playing. They wanted more, they wanted the next game, they wanted the next set of challenges.
It helped us to kind of break a barrier, kind of like an icebreaker. So where in the beginning you might feel like, oh, I don't know them. And then once you kind of introduce them, I'm like, okay, now you feel more friendly, more comfortable.
Though most of the coaches come from a soccer background, the lessons taught can be transferred to any other sport.
The games and the methodology itself are the important thing, and as people understand their sport perhaps a bit better, they can take the theory behind it and implement it and transfer it very quickly to other sports.
Since its start in 2008, Coaches Across Continents has worked in 30 countries and in over 90 communities. For HCTV, I'm Jennifer Murillo.
To learn more about Coaches Across Continents, visit www.coachesacrosscontinents.org. Open enrollment for Cover California ended on January 31st. HCTV's Daniel Lindley was there to find out what you can do if you missed the deadline.
Hawthorne residents had the opportunity to drop by the Hawthorne Memorial Center to get in-person assistance with choosing the right medical insurance during the month of January.
If you missed the deadline on January 31st, and you're not eligible for Medi-Cal, Medi-Cal is open year-round, which is great. But if you make too much money to be eligible for Medi-Cal and your life circumstance don't change, you'll be told, sorry, you cannot get insurance until next open enrollment.
It's the purpose of enrolling individuals who are without insurance, medical insurance.
Having medical insurance coverage is essential to having access to care, and without it, an individual can be left without the ability to get access to any kind of medical treatment.
You're going to go without needed care, preventative care, emergency care, even surgical care.
Peter Lee also emphasized the importance of keeping these circumstances in mind.
If you've got health insurance today through your job, and let's say you lose your job, in June, in July. We're always going to be open for those circumstances.
The staff also wants everyone to remember, at the end of the day, having medical coverage is law.
You miss this deadline, you might go a full year without insurance, and also you might be subject to a penalty, and those penalties are big, and they could be, for a family of 4, the penalty could be as much as $10,000.
Lee wants everyone to understand that having coverage allows all of us to have full preventative control over our health and well-being. Reporting for ACTV, I'm Daniel Lindley.
For more information on Covered California, you can visit their website at www.coveredca.com. In an effort to promote Covered California enrollment, more than a dozen classic cars caravanned across Los Angeles, ending at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, specifically aimed at reaching the African American community. Officials from Covered California were available to discuss advantages to enrollment and how to avoid the tax penalty for not being insured. Coming up next on City News, we'll tell you what the Water District's fears and plans are for El Nino, plus how to get prepared to drive on the wet roads. There's more news ahead. We'll be right back. Welcome back. From a dry summer to a very wet winter, how is California managing its water? We took a visit to the local water district to find out.
Only months ago, drought was the topic of conversation in California. But with El Nino rains, communications manager for West Basin Municipal Water District, Ron Wildermuth, reminds everyone that the wet season is only temporary.
I think the general public, as soon as it rains, forgets about the drought. Fortunately, it's our job to stay on track.
Wildermuth gave me a VIP tour around the Edward C. Little water recycling facility. He shared with me his fears and plans for the future of water in California.
I think we're in the throes of a climate change. There's no doubt. We're seeing warmer weather, obviously record hot weather, and now we're seeing record rain forecasted. So I think we're definitely going to have to deal with an uncertain future of climate change. And on top of that, a future of water scarcity.
Even with the rains ahead, Wildermuth has his eyes on the months following El Nino. With Governor Brown's extension to October on the 25% statewide water reduction, West Basin continues to conserve.
We started a rain barrel program, so when it does rain like this, we can capture that. We've always put out discounts on low-flow toilets, shower heads. The main thrust in the last year or so is we need to reduce the amount of grass. We need to replace our lawns with California-friendly plant gardens.
But even more work takes place inside the facility, where 40 million gallons of wastewater are recycled every day to provide a locally controlled drought-proof water supply right in the South Bay.
And after just one time through the filtration system here at West Basin, what once was sewer water is now drinking water. And it's good too.
Wildermuth knows, however, that with growing populations and the drought ahead, even recycled sewer water won't be enough.
The 20th century was either the third or fourth wettest century in the last 4,000 years. That means that this whole system of water in California, taking water from Northern California and bringing it down here, was built during a wet century. And we know from tree ring studies that the Southwest has had 150 to 200 year droughts. And we're in our 4th or 5th year. That's what keeps you up at night.
Shocking, to say the least. But of course, Ron Wildermuth has an answer.
We can take ocean water, put it through reverse osmosis, which is basically a sheet of plastic, which is the same technology that Aquafina, DeSanti, and Sparklets uses to make your bottled water. We can do that and basically make drinking water, in fact, very high quality drinking water.
West Basin Water District has already started a demonstration facility for desalinization. It uses a wedge wire screen to protect fish and their larvae, preserving the environment while extracting clean drinking water. But I couldn't help but be curious.
So when we desal, what happens to the salt in the water?
It goes back to the ocean. So we have, if you're using desal, you end up with pure drinking water and double salty water.
The team at West Basin has found a way to make sure that the additional salt is safely mixed and returned to the ocean without causing harm. So what's the holdup on the desalinization process?
There are three concerns, obviously. One is the energy, number two is the cost, and number three, can you protect the environment? So we've demonstrated with our demonstration facility we can protect the environment. The cost, again, we're close to, but more expensive than recycled water. But it's in the ballpark. And with that extra cost, you get a higher quality water and you get it reliable 24/7. And then the energy, we'll try to find green energy to offset the energy that's required for ocean water desal.
Wildermuth does admit that despite the effectiveness of desalinization, he tends to agree with environmentalists that there is still room for conservation before experimentation. But he'd rather know how to desal safely before it's initiated on a wide scale. The Edward C. Little Water Recycling Facility offers free classes. Schedule yours today by emailing info@westbasin.org or calling 310-660-6243. As the rains continue to pour, the Hawthorne Police Department has recommendations for residents to prepare for the slippery roads.
People need to change their pattern of driving because the rain brings an extra element to your commute.
Rain reduces the traction between the car and the road, which increases the chances of accidents and hydroplaning.
That happens when you drive over a large amount of water and the car and the tires actually lose contact with the road, and your vehicle starts to slide, and a number of bad things can happen from that.
To avoid being in an accident, Wilbur Pereira recommends slowing down and making sure your car is ready for the rain.
Maintaining your vehicle is very important. Having proper maintenance conducted on your car, like your regular oil changes, regular services, prevent your car from stalling or just messing up in the road.
Having the proper equipment, such as tires and wipers, is also equally important.
In order to check your tires or have good tires, make sure you have the right pressure. The wheel wells on the tires will indicate what kind of pressure it needs to have under cold conditions. So make sure they have plenty of air. This will increase traction on the tires. You also want to make sure that you have the right amount of tread on the tires.
Checking the tread is as easy as conducting the penny test.
You basically grab a penny, flip it upside down, looking at the Abraham Lincoln side, putting it between the tread, and if you're able to see Lincoln's head, then it's probably time for new tires.
And just as important is making sure to have good windshield wipers, which will increase your visibility on the road.
If you wash your car and you turn them on and they're not doing their job and they're not cleaning up that windshield, that's another sign. Also, if you hear a lot of squeaking, that just means you have bad windshield wipers.
Once on the road, Pereira recommends avoiding the outer lanes, where water often collects.
Don't try to drive through the flooded areas because your car is going to stall and you're going to get stuck. And again, you probably won't get help for a long time because tow trucks are going to be busy helping other people.
Pereira also asks that you use your headlight and increase your distance between cars from the 3-second rule to 4 to 6 seconds on rainy days.
Since the filming of this segment, Officer Pereira has started working at a neighboring station, but you can still contact the Hawthorne Police Department with other safety concerns at 310-349-2700. With El Nino already taking a hit on Hawthorne, we visit the South Bay leadership to find the best ways to weather the storms. Jean O'Donnell is a senior emergency manager at the Los Angeles County Office of Emergency Management. The El Nino season has her working overtime at community meetings such as this one held at Hawthorne's Memorial Center. South Bay citizens gathered to learn more about what they need to know before the storms strike.
Depending on where you live, you really need to know the hazards that are around your neighborhood. So if you have storm drains that can be blocked, if you have areas that flood very often, you should know those and get used to those and understand where those are.
On a logistical level, O'Donnell reminds homeowners to think about their insurance before the wet season arrives.
The homeowner's insurance does not cover flood unless you're required to have it because you're in a flood zone or an adjacent flood zone.
Assemblywoman Autumn Burke represents the 62nd District and organized this meeting for her constituents, mostly because El Nino quite literally hits close to home for her.
My home flooded in the last El Nino, and it was scary, and so I think it's really important that we make sure people are safe and that they have access to the information they need to make sure that their family members and that their community members stay safe.
Despite concerns for the rains ahead, Assemblywoman Burke expressed that up on Capitol Hill, drought is still the hot topic of conversation.
1 year of rain is not going to solve the problem, but making sure that we do capture what water we can, I think, is a huge priority for those of us in Sacramento.
But for now, staying safe and prepping for the storms ahead from all angles is the primary focus of those at the helm of emergency services.
The government agencies are going to keep you fed and they're going to keep you warm and sheltered and they're going to keep you alive. But that beautiful, gorgeous landscaped pool that you had and the house that you had 5 bedrooms and it was all top of the line, that's not going to get replaced.
Those who shared at the meeting recommended Community Emergency Response Training, or CERT, which properly prepares the average Joe for all kinds of danger. These classes are, of course, 100% free. This is Kelly Moody, HCTV. To find more information on how you can prepare for El Nino, visit www.lacounty.gov/El Nino or dial 211 and you will be directed to the proper department. Phantom Galleries, in partnership with Lark Gallery, had its art showing. Daniel Lindley has more.
The new exhibit showcases 22 individual artists.
The exhibition is called Beyond Boundaries. We want artists to have that as a theme, what you can do to not project your own things on other people, but actually see the things that we have in common.
These artists are working in various media and have one goal in mind: to reach a higher ground in art.
This is my first actual art gallery showing, so I'm totally thrilled by it.
According to Pashio Sarkin, this theme of art provides a vast array of contrast, encourages differences, and strives to see through the veils of separation and alienation.
There are a couple of rooms, and in one of the rooms there were 2 pieces that, in my opinion, attracted my attention, and they were related to the relationship of humans with nature.
Not only can locals enjoy great art, they can also enjoy the art of drumming.
One of Lark Gallery's missions is to bring art and music together. We have today 2 singers, also have a drum circle in the end of the exhibition.
Artists participating in this event all agreed on one thing.
I hope they'll enjoy beauty and really appreciate it. They will have more hope for the world, for world peace, for human understanding for each other, and they will buy beautiful art.
When all said and done, the artists feel that we are moving towards a higher perspective, where boundaries are not so easily drawn and projections crumble in the face of human suffering. Reporting for ACTV, I'm Daniel Lindley.
For more information on Phantom Galleries and Lark Gallery, you can visit www.phantomgalleries.com and www.larkgallery.com. Keep it right here on Channel 22 for these future news stories. We'll take you to the ribbon cutting for the completion of the intersection widening and traffic signal construction on Crenshaw Boulevard. Also, we'll bring you all the information from the community meeting on local parks assessment and expansion. That does it for this edition of City News. Thanks for watching. If you have any story ideas, please call us at 310-349-1630. Don't forget, you can watch City News online on YouTube by searching Hawthorne Community Television. We'll leave you now with more footage from the grand opening of the futsal fields. See you next time.